we'll just kind of talk about headshots. I'm going to record it and then I'll put it up, Greg, so more people can kind of see what you're about and learn more about taking a good headshot.
Yeah, no, this is great. I got to be honest. This is the first time I ever done this. And I think it's like, it's so amazing that we can do this and everybody's, learning how and being on Zoom this whole year. And this is an excellent idea because I feel like I've been doing this for so long. And I feel a lot of times I fly to a lot of cities all over, from Alaska to Florida to Kentucky to Ohio. And I feel like I don't get a chance like the old days when I started on film to get to sit down and meet people and let actors kind of feel you out and decide if this is the right photographer. So I feel like this could be, this is really great. I wish I could do this more with actors so they could be more prepared, because it really makes a difference in the shoot, and it can really make a difference in you getting called out or not getting called out to get auditions, because it's really super hard now with auditions. It's extra competitive because it's not LA. You don't have to be there anymore. You can send self-tapes, especially now with COVID.
I feel like a lot of times you decide, okay, I need new headshots. And then you go and you do your research, you find a photographer, you book your day. Maybe you have a couple of email exchanges with them.
Right.
And then you show up. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I hate taking headshots. I love auditioning. I love being on set. But when it comes to, oh shoot, I got to get new headshots, and I will milk my old headshots for as long as possible, because that day you didn't get enough sleep, you look tired, your makeup's off, you can't figure out what to wear, and then sometimes even getting the proofs back, you're like, and it takes me a week to just leave it alone, come back and actually like the images that were taken. So I'm wondering, establishing what can we do to make the process fun and easier is not a have to chore. It's just something we have to do as actors rather than something that we can look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like after doing this 25 years and being an actor for many years, I started as a teen as an actor. Well, I started theater way before as a kid, and just being in the industry my whole life, for me, I feel like it just comes natural for me being around actors, because I started out as an actor and I've been around them. So crossing over was really easy for me 25 years ago, crossing over. And I feel like the reason you meet photographers, or did back in the day, to see how comfortable you felt. There was an energy and there was this feeling of like, hey, I'm really comfortable with this person. And I feel like as I grew as a photographer, more and more, I became comfortable with myself. And I realized that people are going to react off of how comfortable I am with myself, so they can be comfortable with themselves. Because most actors, let's face it, are not really comfortable with themselves, and especially getting pictures. And I just feel like I don't bring that thing, that attitude. I don't work from an ego. I work from a place of like, hey, I was an actor. I want to help you get work. That's my job. And I treat it very like professional, and I take it serious, but not serious in a way where we're not going to be relaxed. And I feel like I can talk to almost anybody after all these years, because I've met all kinds of actors, and some of the stories I could tell you are really, just how to run the gamut of all kinds. But anyway, it's just that comfortability that I feel that I am with myself, and you guys will pick up off my energy. And I feel like I've been given a gift, or I've worked on it, or whatever. And that's kind of what I feel is most important.
Talk about kind of the process of going from being an actor to now being a photographer. I mean, how do you justify it versus every other actor that finds their DSLR and decides they're going to take headshots?
Well, like I said, I started 25 years ago. So I shot black and white. I was like, you had to be a legit photographer to make a living, and in Los Angeles especially. So I shot on film. You got 2 rolls of film with 36 Kodak, Tri-X, T-Max, and you had to make that work. You had to use a light meter. So I come from the old school days of like really having to, do it that way. So I wasn't a guy who picked up a camera just, like a lot of people have. So I really paid my dues. And back then you had to be really good because there was a lot of really, it was a heavy competition, and now it's even worse. But
Yeah.
so yeah, so basically, like I just said, I feel like, I'm not one of those people that just picked up a camera. And I think that really comes through because, like I said, the comfortability factor, but also the experience, number one, of knowing and going through, the black and white headshots to 3/4 black and white to color magically happening after the black and white. Remember those days? I don't know, some of you, if you've been around that long or not. And then it converted to color, and then it was color 3/4, and it was all over the place. And now with digital, everything came back to just the headshot, but it's not black and white. So it came full circle, except for the black and white. It's color, and it's really super tight, guys. And I just finished a movie yesterday, so I can speak from experience. I directed my first full feature that is going to be a really huge movie on about a healing horse based on a true story here in Ohio. And my what I really noticed about the process is going through Actors Access and seeing pictures that stood out, and those you're basically a thumbnail. I've been saying this for years. You're a thumbnail until proven different. So all you are is a thumbnail, and you have to get the person's attention, the casting or director, whoever's looking at you, through that thumbnail. So that's really important to have everything just popping out. And you'd be shocked how many headshots were just absolutely not popping out. So I feel, if I can toot my own horn, I feel that my headshots pop because I work on the eyes and I bring natural light into the eyes. And it's just a natural, I use natural light on the face, and sometimes I'll fill in with a little side light of just to give a little depth, a little dimension to the shot with some artificial light. But mostly it's that natural light that bring out your eyes, because that's the most important thing. You really, on those thumbnails, you have to pull out the eyes right away.
How often do you think you should get a headshot?
Okay, well, that's a question that comes up a lot, and basically the simple answer is as much. Some adults don't change that much over the years, but when you change, I think a lot of women especially will change their hair color and change the length, and you really have to be accurate with keeping yourself out there looking like yourself, because that's something that I've noticed too. I would see a headshot and then click on their tape and they have a totally different look going on. So you have to keep up with your headshots as much as you change your look. And then, as you age too, you have to be realistic about, listen to other people. If they're telling you like, hey, you don't look like your headshot, or you look older. Nobody wants to get their headshots as they're aging. Nobody wants to age in this industry. It's not a business that, accepts aging, but
nobody really tells you that your
you need
headshot doesn't look like you.
You
They'll
really
keep it aside and they'll think of it in their minds, but nobody says, Jill, you need a new headshot. This doesn't look like you.
Yeah, but I mean, you need somebody in your corner, like an agent or manager or somebody that you can trust. It's like, look, you need to change that. So I don't know if all of you have agents or you're trying to get an agent or what, but you need
You guys have
somebody.
agents? Lisa,
Pardon?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I like to do independent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Are you in Utah?
Yeah, I'm down here in Utah County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is hard. I mean, the agents here are pretty much booking agents, so they're not out there being your advocate. So
Yeah.
now everybody's just posting on Facebook if they're looking for somebody. And
Yeah, and I think you need to, like I said, find somebody, a director or somebody in the industry that you value, you trust, that can give you a really good, like, hey, do you think I look like my headshot now? Or do you think I need to update? Do I look different? Because the bottom line is, if you ask the right people, they'll tell you, or even people off the street that you don't know, it's like, hey, does this look like me? So just do some random things like that, I think, and that'll tell you like you need to update. Because if your picture doesn't look like you need to update. Asked if things changed in COVID. I don't think things changed in COVID. Well, I think what's changed is more self-tape, so you can be anywhere in the country now. So you can be in Utah, or I'm in Ohio right now working. So we can compete against the same thing because self-tapes, people are just looking at them, even if you live in LA. So, so it's even more important to have that good headshot, that right headshot, and more specific. So what I've learned over the years is get more specific, because actors, even really good actors, have worked on a lot of things. They just show up with a bunch of clothes and they just lay them out on the bed for me, and then they're like, okay, pick, what do I wear? And you would be surprised how much I get that. They don't really come prepared or know who they are or what looks they want. So you as an actor can really use me right now, or later through emails if you decide to shoot, like, hey, look, this is my look, I put it together, this is a lawyer, this is a mom, soccer mom. So you ladies need to get really specific on the looks. And
Are there I think I've got a good handle on the types of roles that I wind up playing.
Yep.
But if people are unsure, would you
Yep.
offer that idea and say, look, I look at you and I can see you as this, that, that?
Yeah, because I've worked with I've done casting workshops a lot on the side. I was doing that for a long time. So so I work with a lot of casting directors, so I can make split-second decisions after meeting people, and that's how they do it too. They make split-second decisions after they meet you, and you just have to be willing to have somebody be honest with you and tell you what they think, and you have to accept that, how people see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and Zoom makes it nice. So if we did want to work with you, we could do a quick Zoom and you can say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd love to just talk to people and then also say like, hey, I played this in the past. People see me as this. So give me as much information as you want. But also I could tell you what I feel first, and then you could tell me, and then we could kind of, maybe get 2 or 3 looks out of what you've played in the past, what people see you as, what you get called in as, and then what I see you as too. Because I feel like I have a casting eye, to be honest with you. And especially after just doing this movie and looking at tons and tons and tons of headshots and self-tapes. And I'll tell you what, the self-tapes, I know I'm going off track here a little bit, but it carries over from the headshot, because the next thing after the headshot is watching the self-tape. So if your self-tape doesn't get off right away in those first, they say 10 seconds, but I'm going to say 5 seconds. Like, if you don't get like that really great start, like, I'm not watching it. I'm not giving you a chance. Because if you're not starting out right, that means you're not really tapped into that character right out of the gate. I think a lot of people lose the audition out of the gate a lot on the self-tapes because they're not. And also, if it's a small role, they're putting too much into it. Too many actors are like making it about them on these small roles when I'm looking for, and they're not just realizing the movie's not about them. They're just overplaying it. It's overacting basically on the small roles, because it just seems like, hey, I got to do something with this. And sometimes you don't. You just got to let it be. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But the headshots, knowing your type, and multiple types. Like, I shoot 3 looks and no problem. When I fly into these cities, these agents, these people are like, we need 3 different looks. These are the looks. I have somebody in styling helping put the looks together with their clothes. Sometimes they talk about it ahead of time, and I'd be willing to do that, talk with you guys ahead of time, because you got to get really specific now. You have to. And there's a lady I casted in my movie. She was dressed as a lawyer. She had the black coat on and the white cami, and she looked like a lawyer. And I wasn't looking for a lawyer. I was looking for a beauty salon gossip queen, basically, was the character. So it was nothing like the way she was dressed. And I'm like, I wasn't finding the actor, and I went from the A's. In Actors Access, they do the A's. The casting director will give you an A or a B. So I did all the A's. I didn't like him. I'm like, oh, she doesn't look the part. I don't know. I just randomly clicked on her. She was nothing like her headshot. She wasn't the professional. that she was, you know, she was misrepresenting for this role. And I clicked on her and I'm like, she got the part, but that was just luck. You know what I mean? So it's just an example how I just wish she would have had the hair going and just had this vibrant, like, you know, colorful thing on. That's what I was looking for, but she just didn't.
So what you're saying is people should actually have multiple, not just multiple looks, but multiple headshots that
Absolutely. And I think the looks and the headshots are the same thing basically, because the look is a headshot. So you really have to change the clothes. You got to do the hair. You got, you know, so when I come, I would get somebody who's really, you know, good with hair and makeup, and we'll start with light makeup. So you do more of the natural, you know, mountain girl or whatever you guys have up there. I don't know in Utah, or just natural. You know what I mean?
have a lot of
I'm staring at the mountains and I'm seeing
Yeah.
the flannel, but you see what I mean? Like just do something like that and then make sure the other looks are definitely not like that. We pump up the makeup, we change the hair, we pull it back, you know, do the turning. So you want to make sure, you know who you are, and then go from there. That's just a promo I did. Now, these are all people from this specific agency, and I keep going back. So I'm showing.
You guys, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
You guys seeing
Yeah.
it?
There we go.
Yeah. So that's a promo they did, and all these people are with this agency that I go into. So I'm just showing them, I'm just showing other talent that they have what I've done with their talent. So they're all with the same agency, and I just did a little promo with them. Some are more specific than others, but there's a detective, there's a guy with a hoodie and a beard. There's a preppy guy, the top row in the gold sweater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's preppy. There's a guy with the beard and the hair and the black. He's a little more mysterious, the top row, second. And the third one over the blonde, she's, you know, commercial mom. So I feel like, you know, we get, you get specific, and sometimes you don't want to get too specific because you don't want to like go right into some, you want to kind of leave it open for a few things because you don't want to work with that many pictures. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's as much as you want to get zoomed in on the looks, it really depends on the wardrobe. And sometimes you just kind of, for a commercial shot, obviously you don't, like the first girl top left, that's really nice. A little sweater with the green shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's just a commercial shot. But when you get into film and TV, you got to get really specific on that.
Now, how about smile? Teeth, smile, no
Yeah,
smile?
teeth only for commercials. Do never show teeth for theatrical. They say theatrical in LA, legit New York, but for film and TV, you don't want to show teeth. So I don't know how it is in Utah, but basically in every other market I've been to, it's just smiles are commercial and mouth closed for film for sure.
I think us here don't want to limit ourselves to Utah. Am I right, guys?
Right.
Yeah. And so
Or
we want competitive headshots.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell when you had all your submissions, could you spot small town headshot?
It really makes a difference because it tells you how much they care, they've invested in their careers. So to me, as a photographer and a director, now getting into film more and more, hopefully if this movie does as well as I feel it went, that I'm going to be looking at the professionalism, because you want to work with professional people and know that people are investing in their pictures. To me, that's important. Otherwise it's just like, I don't know if this person cares about this industry enough to spend a couple $100 to, you know, especially, you know, to get professional pictures and pop out.
It's not every day we get to see what the casting directors are seeing on the other side and how
Yep.
layout looks.
I don't want to go through 1,000 roles for each character, so I let the casting director go, like I said, and they'll label them A, B, C, or D. A, B, C, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I let them do it, and then I go through, like, maybe they pick, like, they narrow it down to like 25 or something, or whatever I tell them, or whatever, you know.
So you just say, out of those 800, send me the 25 you think I'm gonna like.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And have they already, the 25, are those the ones that have already self-taped, or the 25 that you choose who you want to self-tape from those 20?
No, those are the ones that self-tape. So that's a casting director's job to go through and get them to basically offer them the self-tape invitation. So not everybody like goes ahead and self-tapes, but they're invited to self-tape. Here are the thumbnails I'm talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I'm getting some good headshots here. Can you see where I'm pointing?
Yeah.
I really like this. Not for the, I mean, I know what I'm looking for the role because I have this picture in my head as a mom who has an autistic child, and I know exactly what I want her to look like from Ohio. Okay, so I'm probably not going to pick her. I mean, she's a little too charactery. I'm not looking for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But like,
and you see this headshot here?
yeah.
I don't like, this is all too busy. Like you half the picture is her wardrobe and it's way too busy. So you got to watch the patterns.
Okay.
If you notice, most of these actors, they know. And also you have to watch the dark backgrounds in here because I want to see the full hair. This might not be that bad of an example to.
Yeah, and I heard if you have dark hair, you want a light background. If you have light hair, you have
Yeah.
a dark background.
Yeah, so this is why I love this lady. She just pops. She pops. She's just not right for the role. Too much going on back here. It's too distracting. See all that?
Yeah.
So, and I can tell that's not a profession. I mean, look, the lighting here is, but this is all weird to me. Like you don't need that much going on in the background. By the way, I bring my own backgrounds. I have like 50 of them, and I mix them up, changing it according to the color. So I travel with my backgrounds now. It's something I've been doing for the last few years, and it's really awesome because I can put up like this wall here that she has. We don't have to be on location. It'll be set up, and it just has a little texture. That's why I really like that.
You don't think the little dots behind her are distracting?
A little bit. They are, but it's still but I still like that her hair, she has a lighter background. There's some texture. You're right. I would pull out those dots. They do bother me. I'm a Virgo. I'm a perfectionist. So yes. It does bother me, but I do like the little texture. I think she's a little too close to the background, and that's what bothers me.
And you want the head bigger these days?
Yeah, and there's two ways to look at it, two schools of science, like get a little head and shoulder, but to me, you don't have time to mess around. So even though I don't like this girl's headshot, she looks like she's Russian and she's just too intense in the eyes, and she'd be right for a certain role, but not what I'm looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I love how tight it is. And, it's a dramatic, yeah. I'm a little cleaner. Now, again, the hair's blending in with the background. She has beautiful red hair, just the wrong background choice. I would make it stand out a little bit more. I like this for a commercial shot. I think it pops. It hits my eye right away. This is too dull. Her hair is moving in with the dark background a little bit. Not too bad, but it's just not popping to me. It's kind of dull.
Yeah.
This lady, great. I love this picture because it really pops. It looks a little bit forced, like they had her put glasses on. So here's the deal, guys. If you're gonna wear glasses, like, make it work with the character, and make sure your face is like good for glasses, and the glasses, just don't put on a prop pair of glasses. Really sell the shot. I think, the earrings are horrible because they're distracting as crap. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So I would go with some studs instead of those earrings because it takes away from what I want. I just want to see this.
Right.
You don't have to add anything extra. Just the glasses are enough, but she went with the earrings. It's too much.
Gotcha.
This is just all blending in together.
It's
That's
just blew everything, right?
terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm a little, again, I like the background a little bit too close. She's not right for my part. Terrible lighting, terrible picture here. I don't know
That
why.
looks like a high school yearbook picture.
And this one does too, high school yearbook. This one doesn't look professional, so it takes my eye out. She's not right for the part. Way too much skin unless you're going for something sexy, but it's still too much. Even if you just don't need to show your whole chest. Half the frame is her chest. It's just, she doesn't need to wear, and that could be a bra. You know, it's just your mind just goes to, this
No,
is
that's
all
great.
me.
This is great. What do you guys think?
Yeah. And then, that's okay. It's just a little dull with the gray and the black. Pop it out a little bit more. This isn't professional. I like the background choice with her eyes, just bad lighting on her. Looks like someone just snapped a picture. I wouldn't call her in. Terrible, not a professional headshot, so I'm not even gonna look at her. This is nice. A little too much, you know. I like it. I mean, I'd call her in for this role. Terrible picture, terrible photography. This is terrible. It looks like she went to a modeling school. Her mouth is cracked open. I just don't like the mouth. Everybody's different, casting directors, and I can get really critical with the best of them, but usually you have to keep your mouth closed it's too distracting unless you're smiling for a commercial. Terrible, terrible, terrible background, hair blending in, terrible. This is I'm not getting enough of selling the shirt. We got to get a little idea of what you're wearing. So the hard part is when you go tight for the headshot, you still have to sell the look with the clothes, right? So we just have a little bit of leather coming out. I don't know. This is just blah. I don't know what this woman's thinking wearing this. Do you guys know?
I don't.
No, I mean, I'm not trying.
A period thing.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just like, I don't know what she's going for. And if it's a period piece, it's not, there's just not enough of that to really be sending out for this kind of role. It's the opposite of what I'm looking for. This
They
is
probably just told her to wear bright colors, so she picked yellow.
well, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Don't just go with the color and be specific about what you're going for. So don't just stop with bright colors. And yeah, when I'm working quick, I'm like, yeah, bring colors, and I don't get a chance to go into detail. But with this Zoom thing, I can help you guys by saying, yeah, get bright colors, but you know, let's get something that's not as lacy and holy, and it's just distracting the whole half of the picture. This, I don't even want to say, it's just the hat. I mean, everything's wrong. It's just too much wrong with this picture. I'm looking back here. I'm not even looking here. Like, what's this all about? Gray and a hat. Never wear a hat. Never want to cover your head.
Are there particular colors that work for everyone? And people
yeah, I mean, blues, fuchsias, like I love these purples that work for a lot of people. Don't wear stripes like this lady here. Stripes catch your eyes, they take you away. Don't wear see how these little things on her shirt, my eyes go to that. They just go to this. Like, what is that? It just takes me out of it.
Gotcha.
This is a nice picture. I can tell this is a professional picture. I could see her as a, detective, or she could be the mom in this. So this isn't bad. Sometimes, like I said, you go with something that they can see as a few things. You can use it for a lot of submissions. I don't like this because, again, it's the half smile lady. So I like you to commit to the commercial smile or the mouth closed. Not a professional picture, not a professional picture, not a professional picture, not a professional picture, not a professional picture. Just the lighting's bad here. The lighting, the way it's hitting her face, I wouldn't allow that right here.
And just so you guys know, these pictures these girls are all represented by SAG franchise agencies.
No, actually,
even if they're in like smaller markets, but in order to be part of Breakdown Services, your agent has to have a SAG franchise.
Yeah. Now, the ones I'm showing you all submitted themselves through Actors Access.
So these aren't from your agents? Agents didn't submit them?
No, these are self-submit.
Oh, okay, so never mind.
These are all, I'm sorry, I did a non-union movie. So we had some from agents and then some on their own. So these are the ones that submitted. Yeah, they submitted on their own. Okay. See where it says Actors Access under their names?
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them put up, but most of them are just submitting on their own. Some of them have a talent agent.
Okay. So I
and
was
they
wrong.
just-
So if it's through Actors and Access, it's self-submitted, like we would.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm very critical, like I said, because you only have so much room to play with, right, ladies? So everything has to be perfect. Like this lighting is way too harsh. Like I said, this is all just muted red. The shadowing here, I can, this is
So-
not too bad. This is not too bad.
What happens if you take the shots and they wind up kind of looking like that? Will you go and retake them, or will they just be fixed in Photoshop?
Well, I wouldn't retake them because I wouldn't shoot them like
They wouldn't
away.
look like that.
Like, yeah, especially if it was, if we decide ahead of time and going in, what looks you're going for. I never do reshoots because I never really feel I have to because we get it the first time around. This is a nice shot. I love the blue. I love the background faded out. I like to do this too. I love the natural light. I don't like the color choice of the background here because it blends in with, I don't know, this
Her
does,
collar.
yeah, the collar's too, like she's going specific and I don't know what that's saying. I don't like too much red. There's too much red going on in there. It blends in with the skin. That's not professional. I
A
don't
lot
want,
of times, when people are working with a photographer, they feel like they can't really say what's on their mind because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or step on.
no,
their
I that's a bunch of, to me, that's just crazy. I've never heard of that. You're working with some photographers that are just insecure. I think you need to talk about it and you need to like tell the photographer what you're going for. And that's going to make somebody like me happy because that tells me you know who you are and what you want to wear. And that's great. Now, if it can be a collaboration where I say, well, are you sure you want to wear that because of this? And it'll photograph like this. And then that could be a discussion. But if you know what you're going for and you know yourself and you're wearing something that's going to work for that character, I'm going to let it go.
Now, what about her cutting off the top of her head?
That's fine. I don't know why people have a problem with that because I'm seeing enough that it makes you actually get to the eyes a little bit more. She's cut off a lot, but maybe too much, and she could be cut off a little bit more. So I think a perfect cutoff is like this right here. I think a perfect framing for a headshot is this right here, this lady. You know what I mean? Look at those blue eyes. Look how she's popping out. I don't know what's going on here. This is not the mom that I was looking for. So this is an example, right? Like, why would she even submit that for a mom of a boy for a family film? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's an example. I love this. The only thing I don't like, you got to watch is the hair's coming in a little bit. Be careful with that. You don't want it covering up the face. I love this picture, not because she's really pretty, but I love the lighting and I love the colors, the green and the gray. I think that really goes well with her coloring and her eyes. This is nice. I love this. This is a mom. This could be a commercial or a theatrical. I love this picture. I have a lot of nice soft backgrounds like that too that I love. I love this shirt. It's not too busy. It has patterns.
So can people count on you to pick the right backdrop, or do we have to say yay or nay, or let's use this?
No, you don't have any choice in the background because I know exactly what you have to trust me. That's why you're paying me, and I'll make that contrast depending on your hair color. I look at two things, or a lot of things actually. Your hair color, eye color, skin tone. I don't want to pick a background that's going to blend in your your skin tone with the background. Like,
Yeah, the one right below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third one
Yeah.
in. She kind
With
of
the white,
yeah.
yeah,
wearing white, she's got the beige in the background and the very light skin.
yeah, exactly. So she's got enough going on here that I could put up a little darker so she would pop out more. And plus, I wouldn't put her in white. Like, what is this saying right now? Why would you wear this? Like, tell me. I'm being serious. I'm not being critical. I'm like, what is she saying here by wearing that with no shirt, just a white?
She
What is
probably
it?
has a cami underneath. Maybe it's supposed to be kind of a marketing exec look.
But she doesn't have a cami underneath because if she did, when I pop on it, I should see it. And she's going for some look, but I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what to cast her as. This is how I want my mom dressed, like this. A nice shot if it was color corrected. I could fix that in 2 seconds. I could do this all day, guys.
right.
Terrible. Here we go
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Here we go again. You know, the background.
So, but as an actor, you should be aware, even though you're going to choose, but even if somebody was working with a different photographer, you should kind of be aware of what your background is too. So it's not a wasted session, right? I know you're going to choose the backdrop because you've got the
Yeah.
experience, but we should be aware of what's behind us. So it's not a wasted session if we're working with a different photographer too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're working with a different photographer and not me, just yeah, you can be aware. But with me, you don't have to worry. You don't have to look behind you. You just have to trust me. After 25 years, I know what you need behind you. And the more trust you have in me, the better the shoot goes, because that way I don't feel like you're second guessing me and all that. You need to just worry about relaxing and just being in character, and I'll take care of the rest.
So
But
talk about what a look is. You know, if somebody says, okay, we're going to shoot 3 looks, is that just a putting on a jacket? Is it changing up your hair? What is a look?
yeah, it's a combination of all that. So like I said, I don't think a lot of people are getting that within the square, because I have to go through I want to go back to her because I feel like this is a really nice country soft look that it could be a lot of things. You know what I mean? I just love this. This is a look. Now let's go back to that. I know I picked on her a little bit, but this is a look. And what would that be, ladies?
Sultry escort?
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe, you know, like,
The other woman?
yeah, exactly. So it is a look. So if I am going for something like that, she's going to fit that. I'm going to call her. I like this outfit. It's this commercial. I like the colors. It's kind of like that other one. And sometimes you just have to go with something that's just not specific because you want to use it for multiple things, right? Because this could be a mom. This could be a lot of things.
You say, you know, figure out your type. It's also figure out your look, right? So if my type
Correct.
is a mom, a lawyer, and let's see,
You gotta make sure.
outdoor adventure, right? Then I'm gonna
You
have
have
3
to know-
different. Well,
Yeah, you have to know you can pull it off. Like you have to know, like if you set that up and put it out there, that if you get an audition for that, you can pull it off. You can do it. That's
Right.
that's what you do. That's what people see you as. That's what you need to do to get in the door or get the part.
the woman down on the far left, is
Yeah.
that about the right amount of head and shoulders?
I think so. I think so. And I think the only thing I don't like is she's wearing black, because she's got a really soft mom look, and now she's submitted a mom wearing black. So it's really easy to put black in a picture, but it's just so black is just so like old school, like what we used to wear in the black and white days. You wore a lot of black, and it's just, it doesn't, like if she was wearing like a nicer, softer color, it might even make me call her in. I know this sounds crazy, but you're thinking so quick when you look at these. You want the picture to hit you right away. So she might be a little too harsh because black makes you come across a little bit too strong, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, if she was wearing this leather jacket and not smiling, like I don't know why she's wearing leather and smiling. It makes no sense. I'm just getting like not a clear message. So what she needs to do is close her smile, bring the jacket around. We can tell it's a leather, and she's a biker chick, or she works in a bar. She works, you know what I mean? Something a little rough around the edges. So just sell that a little bit instead of just putting on a leather coat and a smile. It makes no sense. And I think a lot of actors just don't know who they are, what they want to go for, and they're just not specific enough. Like I love this because she's specific, but I just think you need to know who you're going for and know your colors.
And I noticed no one's wearing a necklace.
They shouldn't be.
No
They
necklace.
No.
But earrings,
Just-
little earrings are
Well,
okay.
I mean, for the same reason I was talking about this, any bling bling is gonna like just take my eyes away. You know what I mean?
Better to leave all the jewelry at home.
Leave it home. Like
Okay.
she has short hair, so I'll give her studs. Long hair, nothing. And look, none of them have. She's got little studs, but you're not noticing jewelry on any of these girls. So they've been informed by somebody because you're not seeing any jewelry on any of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I don't really see earrings even.
Nothing. And you shouldn't. You don't want anything distracted. We want a clean palette. We just want to see what we're working with.
How often do you travel remotely to do headshots?
Oh, I traveled a lot before COVID. Like this year, I've just traveled a few times to Kentucky. They use me at Heyman Talent, and Atlanta's calling me in because they're picking up, so I'll go down there. And then I've traveled all over the country. Ohio, I go quite a bit. Columbus, Cincinnati. So I kind of work the Midwest. Indianapolis, I do once a year. So I like going in and doing group shots because I like setting up. I bring a lot of stuff, and I like spending a weekend because I can give actors in the Midwest or, you know, outside of LA, New York, people aren't willing to spend as much. So I can give them a better deal because I'm group shooting. So I keep the price reasonable.
Gotcha.
So you get, you know, great quality for not having to spend, you know, $500 or on
And I'm
up.
sure people are wondering what is a reasonable amount to pay for a headshot.
Well, I mean, usually in LA it starts at like $350 and it goes up to, you know, $800,000 depending on who it is. So it just kind of, you just don't need to spend that much
Yeah.
when it gets over 500. But you know, people are willing to spend whatever once you get the hair and makeup and all that. But really, I just feel like a lot of times people can do their own makeup or they need to learn how to do their makeup. You know, because you're gonna have to wear it for the self-tape anyway, and like especially these days with COVID and everything. So you should be able to keep it natural, and if you have to pump it up for the lawyer here or something,
Mhm.
then you should be able to do that on your own.
So how would a day look if I was shooting remotely? You know, you came into town. How would the whole process go from the initial contact with you in your perfect world?
You mean when I arrive or
No,
after?
even before.
Well, basically, just if we're doing a group thing, usually I can't talk to everybody. So it's just kind of like I send out a big long email, just kind of going over what we just talked about. So I get real detailed into like what you need to bring, what you makeup. I just go over all those things. Hair, bring your own. If we don't have a hair and makeup person, and I prefer it, but a lot of times when you're traveling, you don't know your face, or using somebody local, they might not be the best person. I feel actors can do their own. Women can really, some women don't want to do their makeup. They absolutely will not do it. But I think everybody should, to be honest with you, because you look more like yourself.
And then on the day of, do you give people a time slot? Do they?
Yeah. We just do like, I could do a Google Docs where everybody could just sign up the right time, just put it out there so everybody can see it.
Mhm.
And then that way, people sign up off of Google Doc, and then you can take the time that you want. And yeah, that's basically how it works. You show up, and like I said, if you knew somebody that did hair and makeup, it's an extra cost for that to get somebody that's really good, and I'm not sure if people want to pay that. So that's something you have to consider too. Like for 3 looks, probably like hour and 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I shoot a lot of pictures just because I like to give people a lot of options, and I want it every little angle. I always tell people it's all about right in this area. It's not about that or that. It's like all these little up and downs and turns and there's so many things that we can do. So we try to work with that and get you loose to know like that area. But for the most part, it's pretty straight on. You don't want to be off to the side too much. That's what
Mhm.
that's probably the most you want to go off to the side.
I think it's really good because rarely do we get to see what people think with the headshot side by side. There's a Facebook page that says I think headshot critiques for actors or something, and you can put your headshot up there and people will make comments.
Yeah, and just
You
remember,
see a gallery like this.
I was taught through by photographers to have the relationship. So the one that's having the shots done, to have the relationship with the camera.
yeah,
So that's what and like I can only remember one or two things, like to look through the camera lens.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Um,
What are some tips for actors to take a better headshot?
Yeah, it's really helpful to look through the camera. I actually tell people that. That's a pretty good question. So look to the back of the lens, so you don't look in and around it. You'll try to look right through it, because then your eyes will pop out even more and just kind of grab people. So that's a really good example.
but what are some ones?
What's that?
What are some other ones? Because I've forgotten. I don't know.
I don't know if there is, because I think you can get in your head too much, like thinking about too much, but that's kind of part of my list of things. Like, just look to the back of the lens, and then just really think about, honestly, if you just think about the character you're going for and what you're portraying, and then you don't have to overthink it too much. I think a lot of actors try to overthink it too much and think like, there's some kind of extra special thing you can do. But I really feel once you know what the character is, and I work with everybody based on what I feel and what I think, and getting you to smile if we're trying to, do the smiling shot. But I really feel like once you know the character or what we're going for, you just naturally pop into that, and I'll help you get into that. We'll talk about it a little bit.
How do you feel about hands in shots like this person on the right?
It's one more thing. Like, it just looks like an arm sticking out like into her head. It's just taking away from this. You know what I mean? So definitely, it's so like old school, and it just shows. Nobody wants to see a hand in the face. That's why for most of the pictures you don't. It's not going to sell it more. It's not going to help it. It's going to distract.
Gotcha.
So the bottom line is, you don't need the distractions. Again, why did she wear that? It's like, it's just so distracting. Why is she wearing blue and the background's the same color? Like, the lighting's horrible.
It's funny though, because it's so easy to wake up in the morning and get dressed. But
Yeah.
then if you have to get dressed for a headshot, it takes hours.
I have kids that do this. So for them as well. So like my little girl, I wouldn't want any bows, like nothing, just kind of more of her natural look.
Yeah.
So like should I not even put it up? Should I just keep it down and let her natural hair just
I think it's the same with kids. I shoot a lot of kids. I do a lot of kids. I love working with kids. I'm one of the rare ones. But I think you can put it up if it's going for a certain look. Once you start putting your hair up, they can't see the length of the hair, so that better be specific. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she better be the cheerleader. She better be the little, something. If you hide it in the back on a ponytail, it just needs to. It can work. It's another look. So you can change the hair. You can put it up. She just has to be selling that look for whatever we're going for when it goes up. Okay.
Yeah, because what I see for most is just your natural, like your hair's always down.
Yep.
It's hard to like when I've tried to put mine back, everyone's like, "Oh, I just like your hair down," because that's I don't know, one of your main features.
Yeah, you don't want to hide your hair. Like, you want to keep it down. But like, here's a girl example. Like, I do this a lot. I just have it come around to the side because it really opens up the face here. I want to see her cheekbones. So I like this. And this really sells it. I love the wood background. She's just a soft country girl. She's too young for this part that I'm doing. She looks too young, but I love the sweater. I love the color. I love this picture. I think it's just really, really good. Here's another problem a lot of people have, like, great face, dramatic shot. She looks like she could be Bella's mom in Twilight. if I'm going for that. I mean, that just hits me right away. But this hair coming around, I see that. That's just really distracting right through here. I would have zipped that out.
You like working with strangers and shooting?
Yeah, I love it. I love it because I love actors and I love people that even like, I shoot a lot of women and I realize a lot of women don't update a lot and they're coming back. And I realize I'm sensitive to the fact that women they have it tough because the span is so like it's a youth business and men are allowed to age and women aren't. So it's like, you have to be even more on your game with your headshot, with your age and being representing. So I'm more in touch with that and understand how women's lives have kids, they're like families and things, I understand that. So I'm very sensitive to that. I feel my strength is giving people that confidence that to go into, submitting and feeling good about submitting your picture and popping out. Well, I keep going back to the same agency, so that ought to tell you something. So I have a very good reputation, but the more I talk about myself, the more uncomfortable it is because it's kind of
yeah, brain. Like,
yeah.
You guys, the work should stand for itself. I know. Just to give a little background about how I found you is I was on that website, Headshot Critiques for Actors on Facebook, and somebody had posted a headshot that you had taken.
Okay.
And I have a Pinterest board just titled headshots. And so I collect headshots and I stick them all there. And some you can actually click through and find out who took it. Some were from some agency or whatever, like a commercial. And so you have no idea who took it. So all of the ones that I have there, I try to see who the photographer is, what they're about, what they like, what their rates are, and what other people say about them.
Yeah.
And I think it's important when you're working with a headshot photographer, it's not just that they take great shots, but it's one that you're going to get along with.
Well, and that's funny you bring that up because I have people that come to me and there's a lady in LA, her name's Dana Patrick, and she charges $800 and I get people that come to me and they show me her picture. I go, I'm just going to shoot something really similar to this because we use the same lighting, natural light and blah, blah, blah. But they're like, no, you're going to give me more. I heard about you. And I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
Basically, they look like the picture. I said, I'm just, but they're like, they want a better experience. So what I found out after years and years and years, people want a good experience with their headshots because it carries over into
Jobs, right?
into jobs. But also you have to look at that picture and it reminds you of either a good experience or somebody that just moved your head around. I can get comfortable with people right away because it's something I've been doing for so long that I never try to get programmed coming into it and be like, hey, I'm Greg James, LA photographer, headshots. I've been doing it for 30 years. I don't bring that with it because every time I try to bring in like, look, we're trying to work together to get this. Let's do the best we can. And I care. And I think it's really hard to find traveling photographers that will care because they don't need to. They can come to Utah and they can shoot and they don't give a crap. They'll just like, okay, yeah, they don't appreciate or they're not grateful for the opportunity.
I think I do work in Utah quite frequently for like commercials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got an LA agent and she was saying that she recommended that I get new headshots. I just signed with them last month and she recommended that I get new headshots and that they weren't, that they didn't really pop. And, but I don't know, I've been with them a month and I've gotten pulled for auditions twice. So I don't know if that's, I don't know.
Here's the thing. Every new agent always makes actors get new headshots because they want to feel like the new headshots are, what you really look like. And they want to take the credit if they get you out. And hey, I told you to get those new headshots. Agents want to be loved too. So that's part of their whole game too. Like get new headshots. So you just do it,
Right. And I'll book small roles on features here in Utah, but it's like they're like commercial or not commercial. That's not what I'm saying. They're Hallmark and Lifetime movies. So which is still quite commercially,
Right. Exactly. And I see those pictures working for that type of stuff. But it sounds like your agent wants to get you into the good stuff, the other stuff too. Not that that's not good. It's just
Yeah, no, that's definitely what I want.
Yeah.
to get into that stuff.
right. So what I would do is just work on more specifics with the wardrobe and really kind of get you out to TJ Maxx or get you shopping to really kind of zone in on those characters and that's a conversation like, you have an agent, so you're lucky that you can have that conversation and say, hey, what specifics, if they can tell you. LA agents are more specific. They'll have that conversation if you ask them about, look, do you see me as a lawyer? Do you see me as the mom? Like what are some things you're going to send me out?
If you guys don't have any more questions, I think we kind of nailed
One
everything.
more question, and maybe you did it. Sorry, I had to go take care of the children, like always. Anyway, so my husband, for his headshots for men, he has some without any facial hair, but there's some going on in Utah where they want more like, I don't know, rustic or old,
Rugged, they like the pioneer thing.
yes, like the
Yeah.
pioneer type. So now he's wanting to do one with his, and he can grow a beard fast. So my question is, how long should the hair be on his face?
Oh, for the beard?
Yes, for a headshot.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think that's he doesn't have an agent or anything, right?
No, we're just starting. Our kids are more into than we're getting in it.
Yeah, I boy, I don't know. I just want to say like not too long, not too short, kind of like just something. I don't know how to answer that really, because I feel like
where it can show the color, because he is getting like some gray. He's actually Indian, so
Okay.
apparently he has the look, and we've been approached by people, but he doesn't know. Anyway, he's trying to figure that out.
And
So
I
not
think
a full beard, but like a scruff.
like just a scruff look, or do they want full beard, do you think? Like
They want full for the thing he's been doing.
I
So
see. Okay.
Now,
but,
maybe he grows the beard
Yep.
and shaves it while Greg shoots somebody else. Like
I
takes
know,
a
right?
shot with the beard, then he goes and he shaves, and so now he's got a headshot with the beard and a headshot without.
Yeah.
That work?
That's how you do it. But you just have to remember, like, once you put those pictures out there, you have to be able to, it gets a little more confusing. And I've had this issue with
yeah.
a lot of people before where they have shots clean shaven and then with a beard. And then let's say you're clean shaven, you send a shot with the beard or they want it. And then you're like, you're screwed because you can't get it back in time if the job's so quick. So you have to be careful on that. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying, once you be careful what you wish for, because then you have to be able to,
So maybe the mid is a good length, because that's something doable within a few days. And
yeah,
if they want more, they would probably let us know.
right. Usually in Utah, you get a little more time, maybe if it's a movie I don't know, but if it's something that's going to be casted right away,
Yeah.
then,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be careful of the, submission process after you have it.
You can always add in your notes, I'm clean shaven right now. Here's that photo. But if you need a beard, it'll take me 4 days to get it. Well, have you been to Utah before?
Yeah, definitely. I've been to Park City a few times and Salt Lake. Yeah. So
Are we a
I used
skier?
to go to Park City a lot just for Sundance and stuff. So.
Oh, do you ski?
Yeah. I love skiing. I love.
Ski season is here. It's
Yeah.
November 20th is when the mountains open.
Yeah. No, I love it there. I love it. So yeah, I'd love to come up and work. And well, thank you so much, Jill, and everyone else, Lisa and Rachel and everybody. Sorry, I was being a little maybe too critical on some of the pictures and stuff, but it was just kind of a initial, if you put that up.
Well, one, it's not ours, so it's okay.
Not trying to be like mean or anything. I'm just saying like you're working so quick, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah. Well,
I think it was super helpful.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's
Thanks.
good to see what other people are seeing, and we don't get to as actors.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
We see
that,
our own, and we have people critique our own, and sometimes
Yeah.
one or the other, but not as a gallery
I just
and a quick scroll.
Yeah, I just think people are not putting enough thought into what they're trying to put out there, like what they want. They have to, because it just gets lost if you don't. Like if you don't know what you're trying to attract, you can't attract it.
Well, that's our first hurdle to get
Yeah.
it apart is
Yep.
it's not the resume, it's not the reel, it's not your
Well,
agent making a phone call, it's your headshot.
because you got to get to that next step, and the headshot is the first. You can't get to the next one if you can't get that one down. So
Right.
yeah, and a lot of people just sabotage themselves from the beginning. They don't even realize it. They don't want to spend the money. They don't want to. They don't care enough, or this. I don't know why. Why are you even submitting yourself if you don't care to get a good shot? And I think a lot of people just don't know what a good shot is, or they don't. They just don't. They don't care. A lot of those look like they don't care. I don't get it. Like they think like a picture is a picture, and it's just when you get a professional eye going, especially a casting director who's seen professional pictures over and over and over, you can't go under the bar. There's a bar set, you have to hit that bar. So
Well, I think you did a good job showing people what the difference is.
Yep.
When
Yep.
they're side by side, what one looks like.
Yep.
Because a lot of people have blinders on. They think this is a good headshot. This is my headshot.
yeah,
And then realize that not even okay.
yeah, I just think as a headshot photographer, I'm zeroing in on all those little minute things that I was showing you, and it's like you can just tell that most of those photographers are not headshot photographers. A lot of them are just not headshot. They're not zooming in on all that. They're not putting enough thought and care, and it's weird how much goes into
Your
it.
time. I'm excited. Let's make it happen. Let's get you out here.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll wait to hear back, Jill. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, guys.